Welcome to The Know, I'm Brian. If you're making an online game and need some help, well, Epic Games is about to have a lot of tools for you to use. The developer says that it will be launching a set of cross-platform game services originally built for Fortnite to help other developers with their own online games. Epic says the services will be free and open to all engines and platforms. It also said that its services have been battle tested with 200 million players across 7 platforms. Well, way to brag there, Epic. We got it. Fortnite's really popular. As Epic put it in a blog, successfully launching and operating a live online game requires a suite of services that go far beyond the functionality of a traditional game engine. These services are expensive to build, test, and harden in real-world conditions, but once operational, are relatively inexpensive to scale to more games and more users. Epic's offerings will include functions like voice communications. Oh, they should give that to Nintendo. Cross-platform parties and matchmaking, as well as cross-platform achievements, trophies, and more. They will roll them out in phases starting next year. You think that'll be part of the Epic Games Store? I think so. If you want the mini NES or SNES classic consoles, better act fast. Nintendo says that both of them will not be restocked after the holidays. In an interview with The Hollywood Reporter, Nintendo of America president Reggie Fils-Aimé said, "We've said that the current systems are the extent of our classic program. We've also been clear that, at least from an America's perspective, these products are going to be available through the holiday season, and once they sell out, they're gone, and that's it." So he said the current systems are the extent of our classic program. Does that mean no Nintendo 64 Mini? Come on, Reggie, come on. You can do that. Just one more. I'm asking for this one. Speaking of mini retro consoles, it turns out you can run games from the PlayStation Classic on the mini SNES. Nintendo Life reported that the YouTube channel 8-Bit Flashback posted a video of a hacked SNES Classic running PlayStation games and doing a much better job of it than the PlayStation Classic did. They showed off Ridge Racer. The frame rate was definitely better. It was definitely less choppy on the SNES. They also noted that the controls felt much better on the SNES Classic and were way more responsive. The video's host summed it up by saying, "I think the main problem with the PlayStation Classic is they designed it to where it can just barely play its own games." Yeah, that's definitely a problem, especially when the SNES came out like years before the PlayStation. That just doesn't make any sense at all. The PlayStation Classic, not a good look for that. Anyway, it has not been a good start for Valve's card game Artifact, which just launched officially on November 28th. It started off decently enough. It hit more than 60,000 players a day after its launch, which put it in the Steam's top 5, but that would turn out to be the high watermark for the game. According to Steam charts, the game hit a peak over the last 24 hours of just 10,516 players. That's more than an 80% drop, and considering the game hasn't even been out for a month, that is not a good sign. Turns out that guy who booed during the reveal video, he might have been onto something. All right, Detroit Become Human just hit a pretty nice milestone. Sony announced that the game from director David Cage has sold more than 2 million units worldwide on the PlayStation 4 since it launched in May 25th earlier this year. You know, it's like I always say, people love narrative-driven games about androids. It's just a fact. As VentureBeat noted, it's the third Sony exclusive that Cage's studio, Quantic Dreams, has made. There was Heavy Rain on the PlayStation 3 back in 2010, and Beyond Two Souls released in 2013. So we're getting a really cool Soul Calibur and Nier Automata mashup, speaking of androids, next week. Bandai Namco says that 2B, who was previously announced, she will be bringing her swords to the game on December 18th. Definitely a great fit for Soul Calibur. This is a really good mashup. Bandai Namco also showed off a trailer of her kicking some ass. She's part of the season pass, so if you've got that, you won't have to pay for anything more, but there's been no price set if you want to buy her separately. To give you some perspective though, they're charging about $6 for Tira, so probably be in that neighborhood. All right, let's end up with a good old lawsuit story. Nintendo has sued a California man and accused him of selling pirated video games.
They're going after Soulja Boy?
Gotcha!
No, he is next on deck though, man. Crank that legal team, Soulja Boy. This all comes from the Hollywood Reporter, who reports that the man has been selling modification services for the Switch that lets people play unauthorized games. He's also been selling NES Classic Editions, the little minis that come preloaded with 800 games that are, needless to say, also pirated. The lawsuit says he allegedly sold firmware as well as a chip to be installed onto the Switch, which let people bypass its protection measures. According to the suit, Nintendo is seeking damages as well as the defendant's profits. If that doesn't happen, Nintendo says it's entitled to $150,000 for each copyright infringed. So that is, if you just multiply that by 800, that's like 200 million? No, it's not that. It's a lot. I don't know. I was never good at math. That's why I'm doing this job. Anyway, that is all the news we've got for you today. Let us know what you think about all these stories down in the comments below. And for all your news from every corner of the internet, like this video, subscribe to The Know, go to theknow.tv. Almost Friday, you guys. Almost.
How much is that? How much is that?
150,000.
150,000.
If he had 800.
Bankruptcy. That's what that is.
Yeah.